Hi there. Hey, this is your head coach, Steve Hopkins, and I wanted to bring a super short idea to you that I think will help you on a day-to-day basis. It's helped me immensely, and this just has to do with the topic of giving and receiving feedback, right? And feedback is one of those things where we all hope to be effective and then often stumble on. And I know in my past, I've gotten offended. I've gotten nervous about giving feedback. I've been waiting too long to have a conversation about feedback. All those problems come up, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Fundamentally, though, I wanted to share a couple things with you, and then we'll get into an idea that maybe you'll like to put into practice. One of the fundamental problems with feedback is it kind of just always focuses on the past, right? And we're really trying to figure out a way to improve the future, but we're like, I'm going to storytell about the past to accomplish that. That formula doesn't always work out that well. Um, Feedback is also kind of uncomfortable. Like, who likes to point out what somebody did wrong, right? And who wants to hear about what I did wrong in the past as well? It just starts out on the wrong foot. And I've never really gotten comfortable with it, no matter how I've tried to inject my positive, fun personality in this process as well. The last thing, which I find to be most interesting and most problematic, is it's very easy with feedback to allow hidden intentions to kind of creep in. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm going to use feedback to kind of get my message across, or in somebody in unethical ways, I'm going to use feedback to convey the level of power and authority I have. And the list goes on and on and on. So one of the biggest challenges we have leaders have when we're talking about giving feedback or watching peer-to-peer feedback or feedback with the people who report to us is, can I discern that somebody's being well-intentioned even in that process? I'll bet you've been the recipient of feedback that you've questioned. What were they really trying to tell me? Well, let's solve all of that right now by trying a new philosophy. Okay, let's try feed forward. Yeah, I know. It's just a play on words, but stick with me here because I think this is going to really help you. So, what I'd like you to do is just think, we'll just practice this at the very end. I'll list some things that are really valuable as far as takeaways here, but let's think about the practice. The practice of feed forward is just where you pair up, and I would encourage you just to practice this as an exercise, as an activity. Take it into your group if you want first, kind of flex the muscle of it a bit, and then you can put it into real-time practice as a way to do feedback and do it as a way of feed forward instead of feedback. And all you need to do is pick a behavior that you want to change. It can be anything, right? And just like, I want to get better at something. It could be something as simple as being a better listener. I'd like to be a better listener, okay? So what you're going to do is pair up with a partner and just ask for feed forward, okay? So here's how that goes. And ask for just two things. You can do as many as you want, but let's make it simple with just two things. Feed forward. And all they are suggestions for the future. That's it. Okay. And especially if you know each other, there cannot be any reference to the past. How this person did, how you did it in the past. This, oh, I remember how you listened before, change that, or anything. Just two ideas for the future to improve on listening in this case, okay? Feed forward. Feed forward, okay? Now, it sounds easy enough, right? The other person, you in this case, if you're practicing this, your job is just basically to do two things. Listen, no comments. No comments at all. Like, not even, that's a good idea, okay? No comments. If you want to practice no comments, have a note card out and literally take a note on what they say. That'll just keep, I'm going to put it down on paper. I'm not going to talk. All right. So no comments at all. Your job is to listen. And your second job is then just to thank them. That's it. End of activity. Okay. Sounds simple enough, right? But the reality is, for both parties, you have to really think about this and change our normal social behavior of feedback. All right. Our normal social behavior is to think back, point out mistakes, and just point that out and almost suggest do something different than that. All right. Feed forward. You cannot reference the past. You only have to think about good tips you have for feed forward. All right. And like I said, keep it to two. The other person, The hard part is to not inject comments, not to do anything other than listen and thank them. All right. So try to flex that muscle, and I think you'll have a positive experience. And when you really think about this activity, it makes sense why this works, right? I mean, the reality is all we really can change is the future anyway, right? We really can't change the past. So why put so much emphasis on the past? I mean, this is really about change, right? That's why we do feedback. Like, please help me. We got to do something different in the future, not what we just completed. All right. The other thing is, most of us really want to get it right, right? We want to get it right. I want to improve. I don't want to just get reminded about how I did it wrong or how I did it badly. So, tips about the future just kind of keep us in that positive frame of mind. All right. It's all about motivation. It's all about acceleration. It's all about improvement instead of the past and failure and what I missed on. All right. I think that's really positive. The other thing is, so many people can participate in this. Like, you don't even have to have a relationship with that person. If you know the skill, all right, or the behavior or the task, you can do this, right? You can offer feed forward because you're an expert on the thing. It's like, boy, people have told me I'm a great listener, and I see an opportunity. I'm just going to offer feed forward, right? And there's no problem with that. I have great experience. I see an opportunity, and I can offer my help. All right. The other thing I find just in today's day and age where we have so little time often, we can do this in little bits. Feed forward is much faster than the clunkiness and the problems and the relationship damage potentially that goes along with feedback. All right. Feedback. Feed forward, you just be quick, quick, quick. It can be seamless. You don't have all the other things to worry about, and just inject yourself in a conversation and exit. All right. And like I said, the last thing I really love about this is you can prevent hidden intentions, hidden agendas to creep in. It's just not allowed. There's no reason to go backwards, and there's none of this messy stuff that needs to be injected. All right. So some good values there. And hey, listen, there is a time to address performance and talk about going from A to B. I'm not suggesting that we skip any of those things for the future, but this is just an idea of how we can do this step, all right, in improvement in a much better way, much more encouraging way, causing a lot less harm and a lot better outcome. All right. So next time you're tempted to give feedback, give feed forward. I'll see you on the other side.